Hi, I'm Michael Graves from Singing from Scratch, and this is the first part of Vocal Lessons for Beginners. And it's based upon the 6 elements of singing, which is the Singing from Scratch vocal method. And the first one is you as a singer. The first thing you need to do is to understand that you are a singer. You're not becoming a singer, you're not going to be a singer, or someday, or so forth and so on. You are a singer. It's no different than if you would pick up a guitar, and as soon as you pick up the guitar and strum the strings, you are now a guitar player, technically, because you're playing the guitar. How proficient you are at it is determined by how much you practice and how much you know and so forth. So the first thing to do is get it in your mind that you are a singer. That starts right there. Other things that you need to know about you as a singer is the biggest lie. The biggest lie is either you have it or you don't. The fact of the matter is the it factor of what it is if you have a voice and you can create tone. If you can open your mouth and say your name, you can be a singer, or you are a singer. You can then develop that using the remainder of the elements and practice and drills and so forth and so on, which is found in my course. But the first big and the biggest lie is you have it or you don't. You have it. If you can speak, there it is. Okay. The third thing to remember is that there's barriers to singing, and the main barrier to singing is that you can't, or that you can't sing. Now that can come to you from outside sources like don't quit your day job, or you're not really that good, or you can't sing, and so forth and so on. That's a barrier. And that person, to whatever degree, is an enemy to you as a singer. It can also come from yourself. Oh, I can't sing, or I'm no good, or something of that nature. You're being an enemy to yourself. The point is you can sing. You are singing. How good you are is based upon how much you practice. So you can sing. The biggest barrier is that you can't. Well, you can. The next thing I want to go over is breath control. Okay, so the first thing you want to get into there is your breath control, which is you want to drop your diaphragm, right, and push out your stomach, and taking deep breaths and being able to control that breathing by constricting your stomach muscles and your diaphragm and controlling the blowing of that. I do blowing out of candles, like on a birthday cake. You go, and you apply that to singing this way. La. And you can sing longer notes that way by being able to control that. So drop the diaphragm quickly, push out the stomach muscles, and then compress slowly and with control. That is the breath control. And there's other things that you can do in breathing exercises, but that's the main thing that you want to learn right there. Okay, as a beginner singer, just the breath control and how that works. The next thing to go over is vocal mechanics. Now, you've heard the term head voice and chest voice and falsetto, which is sort of like the head voice, and all these different weird terms, and the glottal and the pharyngeal and whatever, these things, different things. But the point of the matter is you have vocal cords. And when you create sound, that is the mechanics of air being pushed past the vocal cords for vibration or flapping, actually, vocal flaps, and then that sound coming out. There is no chest voice because there's no resonance or sound being created in the chest. There is no head voice because if you have a brain, there's no resonance or anything happening up there. It's in the throat after it passes the vocal cords, the mouth, right, which is going to be right in here, and then the nose voice. You get the throat voice, the mouth voice, and the nose voice, okay? And those are actually, you're having one voice, and that's just your voice, la, speaking, etc., etc. Then you have 3 areas of resonance, which is the throat area, the mouth area, and the nose area, and sound resonates there and comes out. Okay, so those are the vocal mechanics, and those are basically the first, all of the things that I just listed is within the first element of singing, which is you. Your mental state, your confidence, even that comes down with stage fright. I didn't really cover stage fright because I have an entire free mini course on my website that you can take. You can go there and take it. It's how to overcome stage fright. And it's a little bit more involved, but gives you steps on how to overcome the stage fright. But other than that, you have The Biggest Lie, The Barriers to Singing, and that's particularly this order, then your vocal mechanics, and your breath control. So the mental state, what's going on physically, and how you're controlling the air to create that sound. Okay, that's the first element of singing, and that's your first lesson.